Hello everyone and welcome to the Anime Zillion, and thank you for joining me as we talk about episode 9 of the Tower of God anime series. And what a fantastic episode this was. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a real roller coaster of emotions, and we had a very good lesson taught to us and being displayed throughout this entire episode. It basically stated that in life, in order to move forward, you need to take action. And sometimes that action does need to be extreme. But ultimately, it depends on your own choices and the consequences that follows, and whether or not you're able to overcome that consequences and to improve yourself moving forward. I think it's a long message, but it's a very kind of to the point, and it works well for the show, which is something I really did like and I appreciated. So then, surprisingly, this episode starts off with some Endorsi information. And honestly, I loved this part of the episode. And what I loved about this bit of the episode was the visual effects in Endorsi's story and the language that was being used. We know, that she's actually talking about herself in her little story, which is obvious, we can tell from the visuals. But the fact they use red to indicate blood as it's coming out of a stake, plus the information about the rank placements for food. So basically they stated that in this house, there would be loads of girls and they would have to compete against each other. They're all very talented. The highly ranked females would eat luxurious food, and then the low ranked people would eat like stale bread and cold scraps. I thought that that kind of aspect of things was very unique as well. But when we see her eating that steak, and there's blood coming out of it and it's red, and that is the only colour, apart from this blue phasey background thing that we have, I thought that was very good use of visual effects, as it basically helps us as the viewer piece together the pieces and make the connections that she killed all of the other competitors, all the other females, before the episode actually gives us that answer. Like, I was actually just writing up some general thoughts about this review, about this part of the episode that I was going to say, and I'd paused it before they announced that all the other females were dead. And I was like, yep, that's basically what it's saying. That is my guess. And then it said it, so I had to delete it, but here we are. And it's just the fact that they did this was also intriguing at the same time, because we get this idea of 10 houses, because this house in Endorsi was, I don't want to say endorsed in, but she was put into, is one of only 10 that is meant to produce people that become princesses. I think it's a great idea. I hope it's expanded on in the future, and I'm interested to see more of it. I hope it's not just something that is brought up once, just for her reasoning for betraying some of her teammates, but, I'm hoping we get it moving forward. I don't think Anak is any part of this, even like the real Anak. I don't think she's any part of that kind of selection process. Her character just doesn't come across that way. And this whole episode is a great insight to Endorsi's character, as it gives us a glimpse as to her personality and as to why she betrayed. And why she's, so capable of betraying, and the way she climbs the tower, her thought process, basically the way that everything that we know of her character so far, it's installed within her. It's based on her upbringing. It's based on the fact that she had to betray, kill any of these other females just to get the life of luxury that she has. And it is also a possibility that she's afraid to return to the girl that was eating stale bread. That's why she wants to move forward. That's why most of her actions are very kind of sinister and very extreme. That's why she's willing to do anything to progress and to stay on top. So I thought that was a very good bit to her character. Moving on, we got Ho, or How. I'm going to say Ho, because that's kind of the way I see it. And this character is plagued with fear, jealousy, and regret. This episode didn't really do anything to me personally to make me feel sad or sorry for him, as his methods were cowardly. And yes, having his whole family murdered in front of him was probably a traumatic experience, and for some small amount I can kind of sympathize with that. However, one thing that really bugs me is if this big, massive man that we saw attacking his family killed everyone but him, then how? Did he defeat that person after he managed to kill all of his family members? Or was that guy literally just like, you're too weak for my time, and just like walked off? Or was he playing dead or possum? I didn't get that part. If you know the answer and it's not a massive spoiler, then let me know down in the comments, because it's really weird how he survived, but then none of his other family did. That's just one thing that kind of bugged me. Anyway, back on topic. So, you have this character that wants to be stronger because he regrets not being as strong enough to protect the people he cares about. And that's where you get the sort of hatred and the fear, because he knows that he's weak. He knows from his experiences that he needs that more power. Now, I mentioned jealousy, and my reasoning for that is simply because his character is weak, and he's lost everything. And then you have a character like Bam, that seemingly has been gaining new friends and new following as he's been moving up, and she has a lot of power, which he doesn't use to destroy the people and the enemies that are in front of him. This is coming from Hal's perspective. So Hal is probably thinking, "Gah, this guy, this Bam guy, he thinks he's weak, yet he's got this massive amount of Shinzu that he can just burst out and explode at any given moment. He's not weak. God, what's he on about? I hate him. He's horrible." And that's kind of what this character is kind of doing. This is his mental state. Now, I'm not a psychologist or anything like that. It's just my kind of take on the matter. That's the way I perceive Hal's character and how he's thinking before he takes his actions that he does. You know, and it's kind of like a professional boxer with multiple titles around his waist saying that he's weak and pathetic to an amateur. Like, it just doesn't really work. So, for that reason, that's why I say jealousy is a part of Hal's character. He's jealous of Bam, because Bam is a character that is graced with friendships. He's graced with people that he cares about. And he also has this massive amount of power. But then he also hates him because he won't use that power to take down anything and everything that's in front of him. And was Hal set up? Probably. I mean, it's looking more likely that the main administrator is using this red-haired lady as like a spy / middle person to create situations that are probably intended to see what Bam's reaction would be. Or if, you know, there's anyone in the group that is worthy of moving forward. Because obviously we know that the Crown game gave us this kind of massive showcasing of Bam's immense amount of Shinzu. Maybe the administrator is kind of like, I want to see more of that. I want to see if he really is a threat. So I'll use this character to create a situation that might force Bam to show off that power again, and I'll make my conclusion based on that. That's just my take on it. I could be completely wrong. I just feel like there should be more information that is present, and this character is just kind of giving off that stalkish sort of vibe, so that's what leads me to believe that Hal was set up, basically. And speaking of Bam, let's talk about him. I actually liked his character here in this episode, as it shows that he's making progress and is developing with his skills. The fact that he could copy Quint's technique was very good, and it's probably due to the amount of Shinsu that he has in his possession that allows him to do it. I would like to have seen him attempt it once, and then kind of stumble, and then get it straight away. That's what I personally would like to see. But unfortunately, we didn't get that. He managed to put it off straight away. That's fine. I didn't mind it. I thought it was pretty cool. And taking the blast for Endorsi, again, I was perfectly fine with it, as it makes him stay true to his character and his ideals of helping and wanting to work with friends, which is why he values that friendship list so much. Anyone on that list, he considers a valuable friend, and he'll do anything to help his friends out. That's why he's so willing to go to any lengths for Rachel. Bam's a character that wants to have friends. He needs to have friends to kind of help him feel better about himself and to kind of improve himself. And Rachel was his very first friend. So of course he's got so much kind of passion and so much enthusiasm and so much commitment to Rachel herself. That's why he's willing to go the lengths that he does. Yes, he's naive, and he does need a reality check, which is based on how cruel the world actually is, which Endorsi does try to kind of install in him and teach him. But the direction they're taking his character, I think, is a good one. I like the way they're presenting Bam's character and how he's moving forward. Is his reasoning for following Rachel and wanting to protect her good? It's debatable. I mean, I'm fine with it. I don't mind it too much. And I want to see, him doing that. I want to see him in that situation and develop further. Like, people in anime mostly kind of go beyond when they're trying to save people that they care about. And Bam definitely does this. His back's up against the wall. He learns that technique. He manages to use it to save the girl that he wanted to do. So, for that, pretty good. And it's understandable. Bam understands that Rachel doesn't want this, and he still does it. That's the one thing, that's the key line about this episode relating to Bam that I really did like. Now, the fight sequences. These were actually really cool. I feel sorry for Hats. He put up a great effort only to be, backstabbed by his teammates, which are complete and utter idiots and noobs. But I like the length that Quint went to finish Hats off. Hats is a swordsman, and he's always been shown to be, honourable. He's always said the way of the sword. And, swordsman's honour and everything else like that. And I like the fact that Quint actually, respects Hats for what he did. Hats stood up to a ranker, someone who is way out of his depth, and challenged him onto his level, and actually trusted some dirtbags that he probably shouldn't have trusted, reflecting back on it. And, how does Quint, show respect in this situation? Well, he slammed into a wall once. And then to kind of show off his respect and his gratitude for putting up a good fight and to say, you are a good fighter, you're honourable, he just basically pounds him and grinds him into the wall even more. That's something that's small, but I really did like. Quint's character in this episode was actually really cool. He had good comedy, he had good fights, he had good showcasing of emotion. And I like the way that he again got ticked off by things, but it was more the fact that he doesn't like traitors or backstabbers. And that's a good personality to have, and it kind of conflicts with the characters that we see in this episode and what they do. And he's a respectful guy. I like him. I like both these characters. The comedy with the underwear, absolutely brilliant. The badge being the underwear sort of trick, fantastic. It made me laugh. The reactions were very true to the personalities of the characters. Endorsi being cheeky and going, hee hee, I got it, I win. And then just Quint being completely shocked and surprising. I actually don't think Endorsi would wear underwear like that, honestly. But, it did the trick. Awesome. And I like the weird... The one thing I have with this comedy, now, it's going to be a little bit kind of janky the way I say this, but it came after a very, very serious kind of line from one of the other characters. She was kind of giving off this speech that I wasn't that engaged with, honestly. There might be something really big in that I missed, and if I do, you can let me know. I just kind of thought that the female that was with Hao in the last episode, she had this great speech about how she needs to move forward and how she needs to progress. And then it ends with, Quint kind of grabbing Endorsi's, pants and whatnot, realizing it's that, and it's just, boom, comedy straight in your face. And you haven't had time to process what this other female was saying. And no, I like the comedy. I just thought that there might have been, a little bit of gap between the two, just to give me a bit of time to kind of, soak in what was actually being said. Nevertheless, still brilliant. Overall, I really like this episode. This is probably one of my favourite episodes. So far. And that's simply because the music and the sound effects were amazingly on point in this episode. And there was just a really nice episode structure. It was laid out really nicely. It flowed really well. I liked when it went from the beginning to the end. It didn't feel massively rushed. I hear a lot of people complaining that there's a lot of missed content, and there probably is. I will be reading the webtoon soon, so I can give my thoughts on that. at a later time. But honestly, I really enjoyed it. And I think it's a good idea that Rachel ate all those rotten apples and saved up her money and her points, because her medical bill at the end of this episode probably going to cost her a pretty penny. Just going to say, if Endorsi ran out of points just for her medical injury with her leg or whatever it was, then I think being stabbed in the back, Rachel, she's going to need all the help she can get. And what's up with that silent guy disappearing? Is that like her ability or her power? Could she manifest that monster, or is like a weapon or something? I don't know. Pretty intriguing. Unfortunately, Rax might not have like a sparring partner anymore. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see on that front. Lastly, how is a Knack suddenly so adorable? Like, okay, little Knack was adorable. Not gonna lie, I said that before. But she gets a new hairstyle this time, and she blushes, and oh my god, this is a 180 in personality for this character, and man, she looks adorable. I liked it. Thumbs up from me. So, honestly, that concludes my thoughts for this episode. Again, I may have missed one or two things, but if I did, let me know in the comments, and I'll do a follow-up video explaining my thoughts on what I've missed. Obviously, I'll rewatch the episode, but apart from that, again, amazing. Go watch it if you haven't, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new so you never miss a video from me. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you down there. Alligator, mutton, goodbye. Yeah, I did talk about everything, I think. Yeah. Peace.